So, I wanted to talk a little bit about how I got my accent. Even though I have a classic American accent, I've lived in a lot of places, so sometimes a few sounds sound a little weird for me. So, I grew up in the South, but I grew up in an area with people from all over the country and some international people. So, most people sound like me where I grew up, but some people have that Southern accent. And when I go home, like last time, I said something like, "Oh, we ain't got no milk in the fridge," or something like that. "We ain't got no." And I had no idea where that came from. I was like, who am I? I graduated high school and then I moved to Pittsburgh, which is very close to the Midwest, close to Ohio. So my accent started to change a little bit. Then, after a few years, I moved back to the South to North Carolina. And there, everybody thought that I was from the Midwest. Everybody asked if I was from Ohio. My next move was over to Ireland. And this is where I picked up something that I cannot hear. And people have told me about this with my accent. And I know this because every time I say my dad and I, or my dad and me, I'm saying my father, right? My dad. And people always are like, what? Your dog? Like dog, like animal. And so I know that I say this weird, but I cannot hear it. And sometimes my students will mention to me when we're learning the short A sound, like in my name, Ashley, they'll be like, but you don't say ah, you say ah. And I'm like, oh, great. So I figured that maybe like people watching my videos are wondering why I sound weird sometimes too. So this da I have never been able to shake because they do say my da instead of my dad in Ireland, and for whatever reason it has stuck with me for this long. So then when I came back from Ireland, I moved to Pittsburgh again, moved back to Virginia, and then during COVID, I moved to Florida. There was not really much influence on my accent. Tampa is also a area that has a very similar accent to where I grew up in Virginia Beach. Afterwards, I moved to New Zealand for a year because I went to Australia after. So the Australian and New Zealand influence pretty much fell away almost immediately after I left these countries. The couple things that I've stayed. So in New Zealand, I started saying Z instead of Z, which is very British of me, but I learned it because it's NZ. I asked everybody around the country, is it NZ or NZ? There was like no right answer, but more people said NZ, and the gas station, petrol station, was called the Z. When I said I'm going to the gas station, the Z, nobody knew what I was talking about. And in Australia, I picked up H instead of H, which is the British pronunciation of the letter H. And this was because I worked in HR. Well, excuse me, it was HR, not HR. So I started saying H, but that has fallen away. Z is sticking around though. So in Australia, that word so and O, they pronounce very differently. My first housemate in Australia taught me how to say, oh no, like an Australian, which she is, by the way. She said, say the letter R and R really quickly. R and R, R and R, R and R. And you can see the mouth is different than saying O, right? And I say the word so a lot, which in an Australian accent turns into sir. So sometimes I hear that still come out of my mouth, but otherwise, I think my accent is very American. It's just this Irish da that I have not been able to shake for 10 years. And it's also a problem because I can't hear it. So I can't fix it because to fix your pronunciation, first you need to hear the difference. And I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I cannot hear it. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed learning a little bit about me and how I got my accent and why maybe a couple sounds are a little off. And how I know so much about British English because of my time in Ireland, Australia, and New Zealand.